All right, ready for another deep dive? This time, we're taking a closer look at the Beats Studio Pro headphones.
And where better to start than their Amazon product page, right?
Exactly. You can find out so much from just one product page these days.
Mhm.
Reviews, comparisons, specs.
And even, believe it or not, a Kim Kardashian connection.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But first, for those who haven't been glued to every headphone announcement, what are the key features of these Beats Studio Pros?
Well, they've definitely packed in the features personalized spatial audio.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, and USB-C lossless audio, which is great for those audiophiles out there.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, the battery life is insane, like 40 hours.
Seriously, 40 hours. My current headphones barely last a day.
I know, right? It's a game changer. And they've also really emphasized the active noise cancellation and transparency mode.
So you can either fully immerse yourself in the music or stay aware of your surroundings. Pretty smart.
Exactly. Oh, and another big plus, they work with both Apple and Android devices.
Nice. A lot of people use both these days, so that's a good move.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the good stuff. The reviews. What are people saying about these headphones?
Overall, lots of love for the comfort and the color options, and unsurprisingly, people are raving about that battery life.
I bet.
There's one review. A guy fell asleep on a train because the noise cancellation was so good, and he missed his stop.
Wow, that's some serious noise cancellation. That would never happen with earbuds.
Right.
Makes you wonder if those earbuds are really blocking out as much noise as they claim.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, another reviewer mentioned using these Studio Pros for work calls. Said the noise cancellation was amazing at filtering out background noise.
Yeah, I saw that one too. Seems like these headphones are good for both escaping reality and focusing in it, though I have to say, there are some mixed opinions about the sound quality.
Really? How so?
Some people find the sound crisp and clear, while others, mainly the hardcore audiophiles it seems, feel like the bass is a bit lacking.
That's interesting. Seems like a classic Beats debate. Is that intentional, do you think? To appeal to a wider audience?
It's hard to say for sure, but it does seem like they might be leaning toward a more fun, punchy sound that most people will enjoy, even if it's not perfectly balanced for every single genre.
That makes sense. Any other red flags in the reviews?
A few people mentioned concerns about the build quality and Bluetooth connectivity.
Oh, okay. So maybe not perfect, but still pretty intriguing.
Definitely.
Now, the big question, are they worth the price? What are people saying about that?
Well, that's where the reviews get really interesting.
So?
Some think they're a steal, especially if you can find them on sale. Others think they're way overpriced. And then, of course, there's the whole Kim Kardashian factor.
Right, the special edition colors. They do look amazing, but are they worth the extra cash? One reviewer even joked, asking if the Kim K version makes dinner and cleans the house to justify the price jump.
Haha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it does highlight how celebrity collaborations can, I don't know, distort our perception of value, maybe. Is it the headphones themselves or the association that makes them seem more expensive?
That's a good point. Speaking of Kim, there's one review from someone who bought the Dune color to match. Well,
Yeah.
everything. Their family, their pets, their house. And naturally, Kim K herself.
Wow, that's commitment.
Right. It's like those headphones are part of their personal brand now. And then, this is too funny. There's another review where someone said the Kim edition sounds better simply because of the name.
I swear the power of marketing is insane. Okay, before we get too sidetracked by the Kardashians, let's take a step back and look at the cold, hard facts. What are the tech specs telling us?
Yeah, good idea.
Well, according to the product page, they weigh 9.17 ounces.
So not exactly feather light.
No, but we are talking about over-ear headphones here, and those tend to be a bit bulkier.
True. They're roughly 7 inches long, 3 inches wide, and 7 inches high. So yeah, not exactly pocket-sized. The battery life, as we've already established, is up to 40 hours, which is phenomenal. And they were released on July 19th, 2023.
So still relatively new to the market.
Yeah.
What about the box contents? Anything exciting in there?
You get the headphones, of course, a carrying case, a USB-C to USB-C cable.
For charging and audio, right?
Yeah, and a 3.5 millimeter analog audio cable for those who prefer a wired connection. And, of course, your standard quick start guide.
All right, so that gives us a decent overview of the Beats Studio Pros. But to really get a sense of how good they are, we need to see how they stack up against the competition. Like, how do they compare to the Solo 4 or the Studio Buds?
Exactly. Luckily, there's a handy chart right on the product page that compares the Studio Pro to the Solo 4, the Studio Buds Plus, and the Fit Pro.
Perfect. So, are the Studio Pros the top dog in the Beats lineup?
Price-wise, definitely. The Studio Pros start at $218.99, which puts them firmly in the premium category. The Solo 4 is much more affordable at $99.99. The Studio Buds Plus and the Fit Pro, being true wireless earbuds, fall somewhere in between at $149.99 and $159.99.
So you're paying a premium for that over-ear design and all the extra features. But does that actually translate to better performance across the board?
Well, not necessarily. For example, the Solo 4 actually beats the Studio Pro in terms of battery life, 50 hours.
Wow.
The Studio Buds Plus and the Fit Pro, being earbuds and all, have shorter battery life, up to 9 hours for the Buds Plus and 7 hours for the Fit Pro.
Right, but they come with charging cases, don't they?
They do. Those bump the total listening time up to 36 hours for the Buds Plus and 30 hours for the Fit Pro, which is still pretty good.
Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, so if battery life is your top priority, the Solo 4 might be a better choice. Interesting how on-ear headphones can last longer than their over-ear siblings. Okay, what about noise cancellation? Do all of these models have that feature?
Actually, only the Studio Pro and the Studio Buds Plus have active noise cancellation, the Solo 4 and the Fit Pro.
Nope. So if you're looking to tune out the world, it's either Studio Pro or Studio Buds Plus. What about transparency mode? Is that available on all the models?
You'll find it on the Studio Pro, the Studio Buds Plus, and the Fit Pro. You know, that feature that lets you hear what's going on around you without taking your headphones off.
Right, right. Okay, so it's starting to become clear how each model caters to different needs. Let's move on to controls. How do they differ between the models?
Well, the Studio Pro and the Solo 4 have those multifunction buttons and volume controls right on the ear cups.
Okay, makes
The
sense.
Studio Buds Plus and the Fit Pro, since they're true wireless earbuds, they've got those little B buttons on each bud for controlling playback and whatnot.
Got it. You know what I love about my AirPods? That in-ear detection feature. The music pauses when you take an earbud out. Do any of these Beats models have that?
Actually, that's only on the Fit Pro, which makes sense since it's the only truly wireless model in this bunch.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, let's talk about calling. How do these models compare when it comes to microphone quality, for all those important Zoom meetings and phone calls?
They all boast dual beamforming mics, which are designed to pick up your voice clearly and filter out background noise.
So no matter which model you choose, you should be able to hear and be heard pretty well. Okay, now for the fun part. Spatial audio. I've heard amazing things about how immersive it can be. Do any of these models offer that head tracking feature?
The Studio Pro and the Solo 4. They both offer spatial audio with head tracking. It's pretty amazing. It creates this super realistic soundstage. The catch is, it only works if you're paired with an Apple device.
Oh, so Android users miss out.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Studio Pro can still play back Dolby Atmos tracks on Android devices, but without that head tracking.
Got it. Okay, last and not least, design. We know the Studio Pros have those comfy over-ear cushions. What about the others?
The Solo 4 has those really plush on-ear cushions, and the Studio Buds Plus and the Fit Pro, they come with multiple ear tip sizes, so you can find the perfect fit for your ears.
Nice. And do they all charge with USB-C?
Yep, all of them. The Studio Pro and the Solo 4 have USB-C ports for charging, and so do the charging cases for the Studio Buds Plus and the Fit Pro.
All right, so we got a pretty good handle on how the Studio Pros compare to their siblings. What's next on our deep dive agenda?
Now, let's dive into the real nitty-gritty. Those customer reviews.
Yes.
They're full of little nuggets of wisdom that you just won't find in the marketing materials. We'll see what people really love about the Studio Pros, what they wish was different, and whether all the hype is actually true.
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
All right, let's dive into those customer reviews and see what people are actually saying about these Beats Studio Pros.
It's funny. When we talk about headphones, we're really talking about an experience, aren't we?
Yeah, that's a good point. It goes beyond just the tech specs. It's about how all that tech comes together to create a certain feeling when you're actually wearing the headphones.
Exactly. Are you getting lost in the music? Are you rocking out at your desk? Are you having a crystal clear conversation? It all adds up to the overall experience. So let's break that experience down a bit. What are the biggest pros that people keep mentioning in the reviews?
Comfort seems to be a huge winner. People are really impressed with how plush the ear cushions and headband are. They say they're perfect for those long listening sessions.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being a big deal, especially for people who work from home or have long commutes. No one wants to feel like their head's in a vice for hours on end.
Absolutely. And a lot of our reviewers specifically mention that they don't clamp too tightly on your head. They've also really nailed it with the color options, especially those special edition Kim K colors. People are saying they add a touch of style, a feeling of exclusivity even.
Yeah, those colors are stunning. They definitely stand out from the usual sea of black and silver headphones you see everywhere. But beyond just looking good, it seems like the battery life is a major selling point. 40 hours of listening time. That's pretty remarkable.
It is. And people are loving that fast fuel feature. A 10-minute charge gives you 4 more hours of playback.
That's a lifesaver if you're always on the go and,
Yeah.
forget to charge your headphones overnight. We've all been there. And of course, we can't forget about noise cancellation. I know a lot of people, myself included, won't even consider headphones without it these days. So how does the noise cancellation stack up on the Studio Pros?
Reviewers seem pretty impressed. They're even comparing it favorably to other top noise-canceling headphones out there. Looks like Beats has really stepped up their game in this department.
Okay, so we've covered some of the big wins, but let's be real. No product is perfect. What are some of the downsides people are mentioning?
Well, as we touched on earlier, the sound quality seems to be a bit of a mixed bag. Some people think it's great, crisp and clear, but others.
The audiophiles.
Right, the audiophiles. They feel like the bass is lacking, especially if you're really into bass-heavy genres like EDM or hip-hop.
Yeah, that seems to be a recurring theme with Beats headphones, doesn't it? Either you love that bass-forward sound, or you find it a bit muddy and lacking detail. Makes you wonder if it's a deliberate choice. Maybe they're aiming for a sound that appeals to a wider audience, even if it means sacrificing a bit of accuracy.
It's definitely a possibility. It seems like they're going for a more fun sound,
Mm.
something that most people will enjoy, even if it's not going to blow away a true audiophile. There are also some concerns about the build quality and the Bluetooth connectivity. A few people mentioned that the frame feels a bit flimsy, and others have had issues with the Bluetooth cutting out.
Those are definitely things to consider, especially if you're planning to use them on the go or for important work calls. You don't want your headphones falling apart or disconnecting in the middle of a meeting. And let's not forget, while all those Apple integration features are great for people who use Apple devices, Android users might be missing out on some of the fun, like that head-tracking spatial audio, for example.
That's true. If you're an Android user, you definitely want to consider whether those missing features are a deal breaker for you. So to sum it up, it sounds like the Beats Studio Pros are a bit of a mixed bag, some strong pros, some noticeable cons,
Right.
but ultimately it comes down to individual preferences and priorities.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to headphones. For someone who prioritizes comfort, style, and long battery life, the Studio Pros might be a perfect fit. But for someone who values sound quality above everything else, or needs seamless multi-device connectivity, they might want to explore other options.
Exactly. So let's pretend we're in the listener's shoes for a minute. What are some key questions you'd ask yourself before buying a pair of Studio Pros?
That's a great question. First and foremost, budget. Are the Studio Pros at their price point a good value compared to other headphones in the same range?
Right. And then think about your sound preferences. Do you like those booming bass frequencies? Or do you prefer a more balanced, neutral sound? That's a big one.
Absolutely. And how important are features like noise cancellation and transparency mode to you? Think about your typical listening environment. Are you using them for commuting, working from home, something else?
All great points. And of course, comfort and style matter too. Do you like the over-ear design? Do the color options appeal to you?
They do. And don't forget about compatibility. Do you have Apple devices? Or do you need something that works seamlessly with Android too?
Exactly. It's all about finding the right fit for your needs. So we've given you a few things to think about, but before we wrap things up, I want to go back to those customer reviews for a minute. Those real-life stories and personal experiences, they can really bring a product to life, don't you think?
I totally agree. It's one thing to read a list of specs, but it's another thing entirely to hear how people are actually using the headphone and what their honest impressions are.
Right. Let's dive back into those reviews and see what we can find.
One thing that keeps popping up in the positive reviews: comfort. People are seriously impressed with how comfortable these headphones are. Like one reviewer said, quote, "They are fairly comfortable. The cushioning on the ear pads and headband are plush, but they do have a strong clamping force, which might bother some, but doesn't bother me overly much, and I am a fan of how stable they feel on my head."
So it sounds like Beats really nailed the comfort factor without sacrificing stability, which is important if you're using them while moving around.
Definitely. No one wants their headphones flying off during a workout. Another reviewer specifically mentioned how comfortable they are for working from home, they said.
What did they say?
Quote, "This Studio Pro is so comfy on my head ears, and I don't feel uncomfortable at all. This model also feels lighter than the Studio 3s. Interesting. That lightness must make a big difference when you're wearing headphones for hours at a time, especially if you're switching between listening to music, taking calls, and hopping on video conferences all day long." Okay, let's move on to noise cancellation. This reviewer had a pretty funny story about how effective it is, they said.
Quote, I bought these Beats over-the-ear headphones in the color DUE, primarily because I needed supplemental headphones beyond my AirPods that I can work out in without worrying they'll fall out, and because I wanted a light brown color to match my skin and wardrobe. These headphones fit the bill perfectly. If I were darker skinned, I would have gotten the earth color, which is a gorgeous chocolate brown. Kim didn't miss with these color schemes. I did not buy these for the noise canceling effect, but can testify that the noise canceling works so well that I was the last person off the Amtrak train, and the conductor had to wake me up because I was sleeping and did not hear the intercom system while these headphones were on. I only had the volume at about 45%, and I'm not a heavy sleeper.
Wow, that's next level noise cancellation. Falling asleep and missing your stop on a train.
Yeah.
That's a serious testament to how well they block out the world.
It really is. But, as we've seen, not everyone's impressed with the sound quality. This reviewer, who considers themselves an audiophile, had a more nuanced take, they said.
Let's hear it.
Quote, my partner has a pair of AirPods Max. I found the sound to be really great, detailed with good soundstage and flat, great for voice, but clinical and safe in all respects and lacking the bass I was looking for. Even with the top-of-the-pack ANC and Apple integration features I was used to on my in-ears, I never could swallow the price. Also, they were comfortable, but so heavy and not suited for long periods of wear. And the case was weird. So I tried the Very Dynamic Laboon ANCs. They were garbage. Impossible to use the controls and pair with devices, sounded really good, but not as good as I would expect from this brand, and the issues go on and on. They did have good bass, but the ANC barely worked. I liked them a lot at first, but they fell apart so quickly. Then I saw that Apple had brand new Beats headphones and were 30% off on Amazon. I had to try them, the nostalgia hit hard, and I'm so happy they didn't change the iconic design from the Studio 2s, which I also liked as a replacement for my solos. I am floored. Super lightweight, yet feel very solid and no creaking Apple integration features. I consider no auto switching to be a plus TBH, but iCloud pairing is a must. Works very well with Apple TV, but the sound is so fun. It's like I am in a concert hall with huge racks of speakers and towers of subwoofers. So much better than my old Beats by a landslide. Great instrument separation and decent soundstage. Sounds less like a wall of sound like my Pro 2s do, but not as wide and spatial as the Max. A little bright for my taste, but never enough to cause fatigue. None of them come close to the 7-70s, of course. Would I recommend these for classical? Or acoustic? Never. Or for any type actual professional work, no. But if you like electronic, you will have so much fun enjoying music with these. The ANC and transparency is very, very good. Identical to my AirPods Pro, I would argue maybe even better than the Max in some situations. The mic quality is good, not as good as my AirPods, but good enough for work calls. I also love watching movies, and having multi-channel support like my Pro 2s is epic. I absolutely love these, and I'm so happy I got them.
Wow, that person went on a real headphone odyssey before landing on the Studio Pros.
Right. It just goes to show that finding the right headphones, it's a process. What works for one person might not work for another, and what you need from your headphones can change depending on what you're using them for.
And for this reviewer, it sounds like the Studio Pros hit that sweet spot. Sound quality, comfort, features. Even though they weren't specifically looking for a bass-heavy sound, it really is all about finding the right balance for you.
Absolutely. But hey, let's not forget about that comparison chart on the product page.
Yeah.
The one that compares the Studio Pros to their siblings. The Solo 4, Studio Buds Plus, and Fit Pro. Let's break down those key differences. See where the Studio Pro shines, and maybe where it falls a little short.
Yes. Let's go head to head. Which Beats model reigns supreme?
Let the games begin.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in our Beats Studio Pro deep dive. Features, reviews, comparisons, you name it. But now, we want to hear from you, our listeners.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? Did anything surprise you? What stood out to you the most?
Did any of this make you want to run out and buy a pair right this second? Or did we uncover some deal breakers for you? Hit us with your thoughts.
Let's address a few of the big questions that often come up with headphones like these. First up, bass. Some people love that Beats bass while others think it's a bit too much. What do you think?
Yeah, the reviews are definitely mixed on this one. It seems like the Studio Pros might have toned down the bass a bit compared to older models, but it's still a defining characteristic. What do you prefer? That deep, rumbling bass or a more balanced sound?
It all comes down to your listening habits and what you listen to. If you're someone who loves to feel the music as much as hear it, especially if you're into genres like EDM or hip hop, then that powerful bass might be exactly what you're looking for. But if you're more of an audiophile and you want to hear every little detail across all frequencies, then the Studio Pros might not be the best fit.
Makes sense. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. Okay, another big one, noise cancellation. The Studio Pros seem to be getting a lot of praise for this. But how do they really compare to other high-end noise-canceling headphones?
That's a tough question. Noise cancellation performance depends on a lot of things. How noisy is your environment? Even the shape of your ears can make a difference.
Wow, really?
Yeah. But overall, people seem to be really impressed with how well the Studio Pros block out the world. Everything from the rumble of a train to the chatter in a busy office. They seem to create a nice little bubble of peace and quiet.
That's amazing. It's almost like a superpower these days, to just shut out all the distractions and focus on what you want to hear. I'm also curious what people think about having both noise cancellation and transparency mode. That dual functionality seems super handy.
Oh, definitely. If you need to switch back and forth between tuning out the world and being aware of what's going on around you, that's a game changer.
Absolutely. Like you're walking down a busy street, you can block out all that traffic noise, then quickly switch to transparency mode if you need to hear an announcement or talk to someone.
Right.
Okay, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about style. What's the verdict on how these headphones look? Those Kim K Special Edition colors are pretty eye-catching, that's for sure.
I think Beats did a great job with the overall design. Sleek, modern, and a nice variety of colors to choose from. You've got your classic understated colors, but then those special edition colors add a touch of personality. A little bit of glamour, even.
It's interesting how people have reacted to the Kim Kardashian collaboration. Some people love it, they think it's cool and stylish, while others are a bit more hesitant about the whole celebrity branding thing.
Yeah.
Especially with the higher price tag.
Yeah, for sure. It just goes to show how much brand associations can influence us, even when we're buying something like headphones. It's really about what you value and whether that brand alignment feels right for you.
Absolutely. Okay, last but not least, the big question. Are the Beats Studio Pros worth the price? We've talked about all the pros and cons.
Yeah.
The features, the sound quality,
Yeah.
the design. Now it's time to make a decision. What do you think?
It's all about finding that balance between what you want and what you're willing to pay. The Studio Pros are definitely a premium product, and that's reflected in the price.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for that combo of style, comfort, great features, and that signature Beats sound, and you're willing to invest in a top-of-the-line listening experience, they could be a really solid choice.
It all comes down to your priorities. What are your absolute must-haves in a pair of headphones?
I guess.
What are you willing to compromise on?
Exactly. And don't forget, sometimes you can snag a great deal if you're patient. If you're not in a rush, it might be worth waiting for a sale or a special promotion.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our Beats Studio Pro deep dive. We've dissected the features, navigated the reviews, explored all the angles.
It's been a fun one. Hopefully you found it insightful and maybe even a little bit entertaining.
A huge thank you to all our listeners for joining us on this audio adventure. Your questions and comments make these deep dives so much more engaging.
We encourage you to keep exploring the world of headphones. There's a perfect pair out there for everyone.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll dive into another set of headphones in the future. But until then, happy listening.
Thanks for watching. If you're ready to elevate your audio experience, don't wait any longer. Click the link in the description below to grab your Beats Studio Pro headphones today and enjoy unbeatable sound quality with up to 40 hours of battery life. Experience the difference with personalized spatial audio, perfect for both Apple and Android users. Don't miss out on this opportunity to transform the way you listen. Hit that link now and join the ranks of audio enthusiasts everywhere.